right, everyone, so this is what we're doing today, but we're actually not going to be using all three of these. I'm going to explain that in a little bit here. When we're actually not going to do this either. I know they want you to remove the stock lines, but we're not going to remove the stock lines. So we're going to show you how to take care of this real quick here. We're going to show you how to do it and how to do it when you're in kind of a pinch. So up in here we have two lines leaking. We have this line right here, if you see right there, bad light, and we also have that line right up in there. So we have two lines that we're replacing today. So welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. That is exactly what we're doing today. And if you want to stick around to the end of the video so I explain exactly why we're doing this instead of the full-blown stainless steel fleece braided lines, I'm going to explain that for you guys because I have a little bit of my own personal opinion on that specific kit versus just doing this. And we're only going to replace the two lines today just because we want to get the truck back on the road. This is leaking really bad and it's just the compression fittings. So we're actually going to do it really quickly and we're going to do it while it's in the truck instead of taking all the lines out and risk breaking those connectors that go into your transmission cooler. We're not going to risk that today. So hopefully we can get this taken care of without any hiccups. The first thing you're going to want to do is come up underneath here and you're going to want to remove your skid plate. We got that down over there. And that was a 15 millimeter is what we used. So this right here is the transmission fluid that we're gonna keep on us. This is recommended from GM. This is what we're gonna use to refill anything that we have that we lose when we cut our lines. So we're just gonna simply cut the rubber hose lines here and let this fluid drain out. There we go. Not much. So next we're gonna go ahead and cut our pipe here. I got this rigid pipe cutter that I use for plumbing stuff at home. I'll link this in the description below for you guys. Gonna simply cut those out. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this one on the very front one here. Unfortunately, I kinda gotta do it without looking. Now the instructions say that you want to get it as close as you can to this compression connector. So we've got it in there now, just like this. I'm gonna go ahead and get it tight. I'm gonna do one circle around where it's kind of loose. I'm gonna tighten it a little bit more. We're gonna go around again. Tighten it a little more. And you'll feel when you tighten it, you'll feel when it loosens up and when it gets tight because it'll be tight. I don't know how else to put it. Tight. Tight is tight.
It's tight. I don't know what's that. Could you imagine overlanding one of these?
Oh man, I can't imagine it.
Because I mean, dude, those custom boxes they put on those things are like 6,000 pounds.
It looked heavy.
So you're off-roading with, I mean, that's badass, but
this pipe cutter sucks.
I should say something. We got a different one. Probably need a new blade.
No, just.
Oh, that style? Yeah. Stainless steel line.
And just like that, that is how you want it to do. Be patient with it, take your time. Just slowly spread it in more and more and more, and you'll get it taken care of. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna cut this one out, and then we're also going to cut this side of it off. We'll do that right now. We don't have to film it because we just showed you how to do it on this line. We'll do it on these ones, and I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so the next step here, you guys, is to get a Scotch-Brite pad. You're going to clean off all those lines. Again, we are deciding to do them in the truck because we're a little lazy right now. We don't want to take all the lines out of the truck, and quite honestly, I don't want to mess with that transmission cooler. So that is exactly why we're doing this, and we're showing you that you can do it with the lines in the truck. But you're going to want to go ahead and deburr the lines, and then we're going to go ahead and use a Scotch-Brite pad to clean the lines before we install the new ones. And I will put up a photo of a deburring tool that we will be using here, and so you can go ahead and get one. They're really cheap. Good luck.
Alright.
That one sucks.
Hey, it's not like just the wrong angle.
Yep. And then after we use that Scotch-Brite pad like you just saw, we're also going back through with the lines and we're going to be wiping them down with a nice clean rag so that we make sure we get it really nice and clean. All right, so the next step after we went ahead and deburred the lines, we cleaned the lines. Now we have to put a small amount of transmission fluid. We're gonna put, they say oil, but we're gonna use the transmission fluid on the line before we put the repair kit line on. One big thing that I forgot to say is you need to check these fittings and make sure that they are 100% assembled correctly, that you have the right O-rings in here, and you have all the right pieces. You're gonna wanna do that on all of the lines that you have and that you are using. All right, so what you wanna do is because these have an O-ring in them, you're gonna wanna rub some transmission fluid on the inside of that O-ring, so that way it gets nice and it makes a good connection with the line itself. All right, so here we are starting to finish up the first line that we took out and replaced here now. I kind of need to set the camera down so we can get two hands on this to get it installed together. Just to keep in mind that when it comes to wrenches, this top part of the fitting is going to be 1 inch and a 1/16, and the bottom one here is 1 inch and 1/8. So you'll need 1 inch and a 1/16 wrench and 1 inch and 1/8 wrench and able to do this install. Now we're gonna go ahead and get this other one on right here across. It's gonna go in there. Let's get a better light. It's gonna go in there, from there to here. All right, so if you pay attention right here, this is one of the transmission line brackets that I ended up taking off. It was put on with a 10mm screw. And then on top here, you have to really pry at it with a flat blade screwdriver to get it popped out. It was definitely a pain, but definitely doable. Now that is located up in there. It was right there. You can see where the stud is. And that allows us then to be able to move the two lines out of the way because they stacked on top of each other. And now this enables us to get at this one with the wrenches without having to take the line out. So we're gonna go ahead, get that line back in, and we're gonna go ahead and remount that transmission line bracket where it's supposed to be. It really isn't that hard. Just be careful, be tedious, you know, don't just rush through this. Take your time, do it the right way, verify with your instructions, and you should have no problems. Sure. All right, give you a nice little update here. We've got them all installed. The compression fittings all nicely installed. We've got that transmission bracket up there reinstalled as well. And everything looks pretty good. Our next steps are gonna be, we're gonna drop the truck down a little bit. We're gonna get it running. We're gonna turn the truck on. We're gonna keep the skid plates off for right now. If you noticed, I did take the other skid plate off. Didn't really actually have to do that. So we're gonna drop it down, fill it up with some, we're gonna check our fluids, we're gonna fill it up with transmission fluid because we're probably gonna need some. Get the truck running, and we're gonna go underneath and take a look for any leaks at all. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we have no leaks, but we did crank it down really nicely. It felt really good. Everything so far has gone really nicely and realistically pretty smooth. Real quick here before we get this taken care of, when you're checking your transmission fluid, you want to make sure that your truck is in neutral when you're checking your fluid, because when you're in park or drive or 1, 2, you know, all the yada yada yada, you're pressurizing your transmission. When you're in neutral, you're not pressurizing the system, so therefore you can actually check your proper levels. Quick little tip for you guys. Put it in reverse. Go ahead, put it in drive. Cycle through all the other stuff. Put it in neutral. That's oil. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys this real quick here. This is your transmission dipstick. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but here is our fill. I ended it up putting just a little bit in there, but not much, because we didn't really lose that much transmission fluid, to be honest with you guys. Not nearly as much as we thought we were going to lose. We did have a few jugs of transmission fluid left over anyways from our last changes, so we had them just in case. But honestly, get yourself a little small jug, because you are going to have to put a little bit in there. But man, really, really, really good day, you guys. So one thing I want to show you is that right there that's where your transmission dipstick goes. It's going to be this little black line, black cap pull. Oh, I'm short. Oh my goodness. All right, there we go. Right back there is where your transmission dipstick is.